Hey students, so this is the review of behavior and structural adaptations. This is on your formative. If you missed those questions on your formative, this would be a great video to watch. So you have this piece of paper in your notebook. Go ahead and find that. And I'm going to go through this quickly and then I'll go through some of the answers. So structural adaptations are physical attributes or characteristics that help the plant or animal survive. Think of structures as webbed feet, a long neck, even structures such as the color or the shape that helps it camouflage and blend in. That is an example of a structural adaptation. An aloe vera plant being pointy versus a flower, for example, that attracts insects and has a bright color. All of those are structural adaptations. A body part, color, defenses, feathers, such as the peacock, patterns, claws, beak, venom of a snake, trunk, those are all structural adaptations. Behavioral are the activities, think of action and verbs, behaviors that help an animal or plant survive. A turtle going into its shell, behavioral. Traveling in herds to protect the young, behavioral. Building a nest, behavioral. Here, example of structural adaptations, some of which were on your formative. Roots growing down into soil. That is an example of structural. Um, Brightly colored flowers with nectar that attract pollination, such as birds, structural. Spines and thorns to protect the plants. Those are all structural too. An example of a plant behavior, desert flowers can remain dormant for months. So, going into that dormantation phase to survive is an example of behavior. Plants also drop seeds to grow new offspring. That is an example of behavior. If you're talking about a plant that is going to grow towards the light, that is an example of behavior too. And finally, we have animal behaviors. These are different things that you can go through. We have hibernating here as well. Communication, the frog call that you watched a video on, those are examples of behavior. So let's get into this document. I'm going to put this in a larger format, and I'm just going to use B or S. A bear's body slows down in the winter. That is hibernation. One second, let me go back. All right, behavior. Sharp claws on a badger to help it dig. Think, is this something that's physical, sharp claws, or is that an action word? Is that something that the badger does? The sharp claws themselves are structural. If it said a badger digging for food or digging a hole in the ground, that would have been behavioral. But those sharp claws, structural. Penguins are cuddling together to stay warm. That is an action, behavior. A moth's eye spots on its wings. That's structural. That's how the moth was designed. Birds flying south during the winter. Behavior. Jacana birds building floating nest in the water. They're building that. That is behavior. Building nest. Spray water on their backs to cool off. An elephant, for example, behavior. Lions from herds staying together. Care for their young. Sharks' teeth. That's a physical trait. Structural. Clownfish seeking shelter from predators. That is a behavior that helps the organism survive and successfully reproduce. Sea anemones are poisonous to other marine creatures. If they're poisonous, that is a structural, a physical trait for them. Eagle's feet, structural. Go ahead and update your notebook if you haven't. And you will see some of these on your formative. You can correct them as well.